My friends, let me share an important idea with you. People often claim that mastering English requires years. They say it's too tough. They insist it's only for the gifted ones. That simply isn't true. The reality is, English has nothing to do with innate talent. It is driven by consistent practice, sheer determination, and effective techniques. You don't need to commit years. If you concentrate your efforts, you can achieve solid speaking ability in just a few weeks. It won't be flawless, but it will be strong enough to express yourself with assurance. My friends, countless individuals dream of becoming proficient in English, yet they never even begin. They wait for the ideal program, the perfect instructor, the right textbook, or even a certain level of self-assurance before they finally take a step. This is the biggest blunder. If your genuine desire is to conquer English rapidly, the most crucial principle is to simply start small, but start today. You do not need to know thousands of words before uttering your first sentence. You don't need to memorize complicated grammar laws before you open your mouth. You shouldn't wait until you feel prepared, because the honest truth is you will never feel ready if you just keep delaying. Confidence doesn't precede action. Confidence is gained after action. When you begin using the small amount you already know, you instantly start building the path towards smooth speaking. Consider a young child. A child does not wait to learn every word before they speak. A child learns one word and immediately uses it, then learns another and applies that one. 2. Gradually, through daily repetition, these words connect and fluency emerges naturally. You must approach English in this very same manner. If you only know 10 words, use those 10 words today. Say them out loud. Combine them into brief phrases. Rehearse them as you are walking, as you are eating, or while you are commuting. Those 10 words will plant a seed of confidence within you, and that confidence will provide you the guts to learn 10 more. Soon, 10 turns into 20. 20 grows to 50. And before you know it, you will be managing basic conversations. The error most students make is believing that being fluent is something that arrives after a long delay following years of academic work or after memorizing endless word lists. But effortless speech is not something built in the future. It is built right now in the present. If you genuinely want to speak fluently in a matter of weeks, you have to take those little steps now. Speak with the vocabulary you already possess. Even if your sentences are choppy, even if your grammar is not spot on. Nobody achieves knowledge by waiting. People gain knowledge by doing. Imagine you want to play a sport like football. You wouldn't wait until you know every rule, every tactical move, and every technical skill before you kick the ball. You go onto the pitch, you try a kick, you miss. You try again, and you get better. English is exactly the same. You can spend years sitting and reading books, committing grammar tables to memory, and listening passively, but without actively using the little you know, you will never progress. So, the primary secret is not about literature or instructors, but about courage. The bravery to use your imperfect English today, because imperfect English is the foundation that matures into polished English tomorrow. Another powerful insight is that small efforts generate tremendous results. Some people aspire to jump straight to advanced fluency, but they forget that fluency is like ascending a staircase. You cannot skip 10 steps at once. You take one step, then another, and then one more. Each tiny step strengthens your ability. Each small win gives you motivation. If you practice using only the words you know today, you will be naturally able to include new words tomorrow. The small steps accumulate. Just like putting away a little money daily makes you financially comfortable later. Consistency with minor actions produces excellence. When you start small, you also get rid of the fear that immobilizes so many students. Fear originates from believing the task is overwhelming. If you feel you must know absolutely everything before speaking, you become paralyzed and quit. But if you tell yourself, I will use only 5 words today, it feels straightforward, manageable, and achievable. And once you accomplish it, you feel a sense of accomplishment. That satisfaction drives you forward to the next stage. Success is alluring, and once you get a taste of it in small portions, you won't want to stop. Starting small also compels you to be inventive. With a limited word bank, you must find clever methods to express your thoughts. You might not recall the precise word, but you can describe the idea in another way. If you don't know the term for hungry, you can simply say, I want to eat. If you don't know the word for angry, you can say, I feel not happy. This practice of expressing yourself with your existing vocabulary trains your mind to think in English. And thinking in English is the gateway to natural speech. Later, when you learn the exact word, you will already have the habit of speaking without pause. There will inevitably be people who mock your rough English. But always remember this, the people who laugh are not the ones who are improving. You are the one advancing. Every time you utilize your limited word set, you are a step closer to mastery. In fact, the most successful learners are the ones who were not afraid of appearing silly early on. They understood that errors are evidence of effort, and effort is the only route to advancement. So, begin small. If you know how to greet people, use those greetings today. Say, hello, how are you? To a stranger. If you know the numbers, practice them while shopping. If you know the colors, describe the world around you in English. Every minor usage is like a brick, and day by day, those bricks construct the entire house of fluency. Waiting will yield you nothing, but using the little you currently possess will grant you everything. When your goal is to master English, you must stop viewing it as an academic subject and start treating it like the air you breathe. Breathing is not something you block out time for. It happens every moment without deliberate effort. That is precisely how your connection with English needs to be if you want to gain proficiency in weeks, not years. Most people approach English like a school assignment. They study for an hour, close their textbook, and then completely forget about it until the next lesson. That is not learning. That is simply short-term memorization. Genuine learning occurs when English becomes a part of your life, woven into every action you take. Consider it this way. If you only use English when you are sitting at a desk, your progress will be as slow as a car operating on only one tire. But if you integrate English into every part of your day, suddenly its impact multiplies. When you wake up in the morning, speak to yourself in English. Say, good morning. I feel great today. Or, I am ready for success. When you clean your teeth, describe what you are doing. When you have your morning meal, name the food items in English. These small, constant interactions keep your mind immersed in the language flow. They might feel awkward initially, but this is exactly how fluency develops, by repeating until it becomes effortless. The challenge for many learners is their belief that fluent speech is only built inside lecture halls. That is why they keep studying for years, yet cannot speak. They read grammar texts. They memorize vocabulary lists. But when the time comes to open their mouth, their mind goes completely blank. Why? Because they never trained their tongue to move. They never trained their brain to link a thought directly to spoken word. Fluency is not knowledge. Fluency is a habit. And a habit is formed only through consistent repetition in everyday life. That is why I urge you to practice like you breathe. It cannot be an option you consider. It must become automatic. You can create your own short exercises throughout the day. When you walk down the street, describe what you observe in English. Tell yourself, I see a car. The car is red. The man is walking quickly. When you are alone, speak out loud as if you are explaining a topic to a friend. Record your voice using your phone. Listen back and aim to improve it the next time. Talk to your reflection as though you are delivering a major presentation. It might seem strange, but remember, self-assurance is developed in private before it can shine in public. The more you practice throughout your daily schedule, the more your brain starts to think naturally in English. Fluency is not about knowing every single word. It is about training your brain to stay in English without translating back to your native language. When you practice every moment, even using simple phrases, your brain literally rewires itself. Slowly, you stop thinking in your first language and then translating. Instead, thoughts begin to arrive directly in English. That is the moment when fluency becomes clear. This is why practicing like breathing is so profoundly effective. You cease treating English as a foreign visitor and begin treating it as part of your family. The great thing about this method is that it removes the pressure of being perfect. If you only speak once a week, you feel tense because you want to be perfect in that single attempt. But if you speak every single hour, every day, you stop worrying about perfection. It just becomes normal. Just like breathing. You don't fret over whether you are breathing. You simply do it. You simply do it. English must become the same. A natural process instead of a stressful performance. People frequently ask, how can I practice if I don't have a speaking partner? The answer is straightforward. You are your first and greatest partner. Speak to yourself. Debate with yourself. Articulate your thoughts aloud. If you are watching a film in English, hit pause and repeat the dialogue. If you are listening to a tune, sing along loudly. If you rate a sentence, say it out loud 5 times. Every action must involve your voice because fluency is not built by reading silently. It is built by sound, by muscle memory in your tongue, by training your mouth to produce the words repeatedly. And remember, this practice does not need a formal schedule. You don't say, I will breathe at 70 other day. And then stop. No. You breathe all day long. In the same way, practice whenever a moment appears. Waiting in a line. Describe what people are doing in English. Traveling on the bus. Silently repeat words or expressions to yourself. Cooking in the kitchen. Talk through the the steps in English. These moments are brief, but together they create a constant atmosphere that keeps your brain engaged. The reason many people do not succeed is not because they lack intelligence, but because they do not create enough exposure to the language. They keep English locked inside a classroom and expect fluency to magically appear. But fluency only comes when English escapes the classroom and lives with you, in your house, on your street, in your mind, in your voice. The more you immerse yourself in it, the more it becomes your second nature. Practice like breathing, and soon you won't even realize you are speaking a different language. It will simply feel like it belongs to you. Most people are scared of speaking English because they are terrified of making mistakes. They hold back their words. They remain quiet in conversations, and they avoid opportunities, all because they think one incorrect sentence will make them appear foolish. But this very fear is the exact obstacle that prevents them from achieving fluency. Mistakes are not barriers. They are the doorways you must step through to reach self-assurance. Every mistake you make is evidence that you are trying, evidence that you are practicing, evidence that you are learning. Without errors, there is no improvement, because progress is founded on correction, and correction only happens when you take action. Think about a baby learning to walk. The baby does not read a manual on walking, does not analyze the theory, does not wait until they are certain they won't fall down. The baby stands up, stumbles, falls, and then tries again. Every fall is an error, but every error is a step closer to balance. If the baby refused to fall, the baby would never walk. Language is identical. You cannot become fluent without stumbling numerous times. Each mistake teaches you what sounds natural, what words fit together correctly, and what expressions make sense. If you are too proud or too scared to make mistakes, you are also too scared to succeed.